Thank you for joining me for Full of Bull episode number 9. If you haven't checked it out, please check out the blog. It's live. It took longer than I was hoping, kind of like everything I've done with this, but I'm actually pretty proud of it. I'm going to be posting new blog posts probably once a month, maybe twice a month. But there'll be new what to read videos. Obviously, the Instagram feed is pulling in, so that's always going to be updated. And the Full of Bull episodes are going to be up there as well. So please check it out. If you are inclined, please feel free to subscribe to my newsletter. You get kind of a weekly update about what's going on. So I would greatly appreciate that. The blog is happinessisagamble.com. happinessisagamble.com. Please check it out. So I'm sitting here in Vegas. Anna is downstairs and is finishing up some gambling. We're headed home tomorrow. And then I'll be back here again next weekend for a bachelor party. But so one of the posts that you might have seen recently, last couple weeks, was referring to fear and the fact that it is okay to be afraid. It's okay to have fear. Everybody has fear. The difference between having that fear and overcoming that fear, that's the difference in success. So, fear is okay. Letting that fear debilitate you and limit you is not okay. So, if you are expecting to be a person who's going to not have fear, to be truly fearless, doesn't exist. So, if you're waiting for the time where, I'll be ready to make a move, I'll be ready to do that or whatever it is, when fear isn't a problem, that's never happening. Fear is always going to be a problem. But you have to overcome that fear. You can't allow that fear to hold you back. So think about whatever it is that you've been fearing, you've been dreading, or that you've been putting off because you aren't ready, or you're too afraid, or you're not prepared, or at least you don't feel you're prepared. Think about that. Think about, when are you ever going to be in the right situation or the perfect situation that you're worried about? Chances are that perfect situation is not going to happen. There's very rarely a perfect situation. Even some of the greatest things that have ever been accomplished were very rarely the perfect situation. So just keep that in mind. Don't wait for perfect. So I mentioned the blog earlier, happinessisagamble.com. Please check it out. If you're willing, to give it a shot, please sign up for the newsletter. You'll get some automated emails, and then I send out a weekly newsletter. And if you don't like it, then just get off the list. It's not a big deal. But you doing that would mean a lot to me, so I would appreciate that. You're going to notice on the homepage every week, or consistently, you're going to see the most recent 3 blog posts, one from each of the 3 categories that I focus on in the blog, which is business, family, and sanity. So you're going to see each of those 3 posted on the homepage. In addition, there's a link to each of those pages, so that those archived ones, you'll be able to access those later on. If you see something you like, read something you like, please feel free to share it. I would really appreciate that. That would mean a lot to me. You're also going to see, obviously, a link to the Full of Bull episodes, the most recent 3, and then there's a Full of Bull page where it just kind of lists out, all the episodes that, in case you want to get caught up. It is a blog, so feel free to like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. You're also going to see a what to read section. For me, that's a very important thing, because when I was looking for, business books, when I was looking for ways to kind of improve myself, it was really hard to find one source. One person recommends one book. You go to Audible, you go to Amazon, and obviously they're pushing what makes them money, not necessarily what's going to benefit you. So you can read some of my reviews, and you see the book go on the shelf, and it kind of gives you an insight into what I look at. Kind of a short synopsis, how I feel like it can benefit you in business, and then how it can potentially apply to your life. And then my recommendation as to whether or not it's worth your time. So please check that out. You're also going to see a feed from my Instagram, which is the Tough Love Daily Motivations, travel pictures, that kind of thing. Again, happinessisagamble.com. Please feel free to sign up for my newsletter. I would greatly appreciate that. Please, any feedback that you have, any issues, anything that isn't working properly, which is entirely possible, please feel free to let me know. So there's some books that have gone up recently. Again, I've been behind, so these have been up for a little while. But you'll see Bad Blood, that's on the blog. Rhinoceros Success, also on the blog. So just a couple little rundown about these 2 books. Bad Blood is kind of a true crime, kind of a story. It's it's an expanded version on an initial really in-depth research story, which I believe was in the New York Times. It's about this woman who was a fraudster and essentially created a $10 billion business, got massive amounts of investment in a tech company, in a biotech company that never actually produced anything original, and just basically lied to people for 13 years. It's kind of insane, actually. So I highly recommend it, and the Audible version was awesome. Rhinoceros Success. That was recommended to me by a friend. It was a good little read. It's literally like a 50-page book. Half of it's, drawings, but it kind of just puts some ideas and principles into a fun, consumable fashion. So I highly recommend that you check out those 2 books. Those are on the blog, so please feel free to share it, like, comment, give me your feedback if you've read the books. If the reviews were helpful, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate that. So I just want to talk a little bit about my love of traveling. I'm sitting here, talking to all you guys, and I'm sitting in a hotel room in Vegas. You can see some of the lights and some of the things back there. I don't have a strip view, so it's not the greatest view, but you can see some other hotel buildings and things. So, I love traveling. I live in Phoenix, in Arizona, and I like living in Phoenix, even though it's a desert and it gets hot as hell in the summer. It's hot as hell right now. But I love to travel. I love to visit new places and kind of experience new things. And I like to come home to where I'm from and the dry heat. So I really feel that passion and that love of traveling came from my mom. So my mom, for as long as I can remember, worked for the airlines, a variety of different airlines. She currently works for Southwest Airlines. And so growing up, we always had the opportunity to travel for free through her work, with whatever airline it was at the time. Family members got to travel for free. You had to travel standby, which means that if you're not familiar, that basically just means that if there's a seat and you're there, you get a seat. If you're there and there's no seat, you don't go anywhere. So it has its ups and its downs, but for a family traveling on a budget, you can't beat it. And so, my mom used to take us on long trips, short trips. We used to do day trips. We'd go to, when she worked for a small airline, we'd, go up to the, Flagstaff. We'd go to, Laughlin. We'd go to California for the day. We flew, we went to New York when we were little. We went to Miami, when I was a little bit older. Been to a bunch of different places. And so it was kind of ingrained in me that, that life is about experiences, not about, just how much money you have in the bank. Not just about, what title you have on your business card. That if you don't experience the things while you can enjoy it, then what the hell is the point of having any of the things that you're working for? And so, I really got that from her, and that's something that I greatly appreciate. And I've kind of been able to take that to a new level. My wife loves to travel as well. We're kind of getting our son and our daughter-to-be. We'll get them used to, to travel as well, as much as we can, whether it be a road trip, going to San Diego where we have a place, going to our cabin up north, flying, we've done Miami last couple of years for New Year's, as a family. So it's important for us to travel as a couple, travel as a family as well. But travel is amazing, and part of the thing is that if you haven't done a lot of travel, the value of travel is that those experiences are things you get to take with you. If you buy a new car, great, you're going to enjoy your new car for what? 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? But then that fades, and then that becomes a liability. That doesn't become something that you can enjoy and you can really appreciate anymore. And now you're looking for that new car. Now the car that you spent all this money on that you're having to pay every month isn't nearly as exciting. Same goes if you buy a nice pair of shoes, you buy a nice watch. All of that wears off. The value of memories, the value of experiences doesn't really wear off. You can think about a place that you went 5 years ago and have the same level of enjoyment today thinking about that as you did when you were actually there. And one of the beautiful things about, as an American, I know everyone who's listening to this is, some people are from all over the world, but as an American, we're very fortunate, and I think it's underrepresented. I think that most Americans don't understand how fortunate we truly are. But when you get to travel to another place, you get to understand and appreciate what you have, the opportunities that you have, and where you live. And that's the same for, no matter what country you're in. When if you enjoy and you like where you're from, and you enjoy living there, when you travel, you get to experience new things, but also gives you an appreciation for when you get to go home, for things that you took for granted at home. And that's one of the beautiful things about travel, is that you appreciate your time there, and you appreciate your time at home, and in the place that you're most comfortable even more. Um, there's nothing that can beat travel experiences, and I would, if I wasn't able to travel, there's not too much, material things I wouldn't trade for the ability to continue to travel and to continue to see new places and have those new experiences. And I'm excited to pass down that love of travel, of doing things to my kids that my mom was able to provide to me, through her work with the airlines. So thank you, thank you, Mom. And I greatly appreciate it, and it's a big part of who I am today. So I highly recommend that if you don't have a passport, go get one. Even if you don't have the money to plan a trip right now, when you get your passport, you're gonna be excited, and you're gonna want to start saving. You're gonna want to start making it possible to go use it and to make that trip happen. So apply for your passport today, and if you already have one, start planning a trip. Even if it's 6 months, 12 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, plan it and make those memories.